Okay, I want to show you a very basic little tip you can use when you're doing refinement. Really, something you should do in all your refinement cases. I just picked a case at random here, and this patient is in the final stages. You can see there's some minor issues with the alignment, but things are looking pretty good. Here's the lower, also close, but not totally aligned. Now, you can just look at it from any time point and jump in there and say, okay, I've got to move this in, maybe rotate that out. Uh, but what you need to do is you can find the original approved clincheck. So here's the initial setup, and you look where it says approved. And this was back in February, and you go add comparison. This was the current clincheck that was presented to me with stage one. So now you look side by side. This should load in a second. Okay, so now uh, this provides information because you will look and you will see the nature of the tooth positions that they started. And here's how it will help me. So, for example, I, of course, saw what's going on in this area, but I didn't really notice as much that this tooth, looks pretty good, right? But look at how rotated it was on the mesial. And now, in that context, I see how the mesial needs to come out a little bit more. And you could even maybe consider it overcorrection. Not necessarily that you have to move it out so that it's actually buccal, but this is almost passable. In other words, if this was all lined up, I might leave this, but I know it's going to have a tendency to go back towards that. And so I want to nail it. So in other words, my overcorrection could be just nailing it, but I wouldn't have known that had I not seen this. Similarly, another great example. Here is the mesial of the canna looking at how it was out. I'm now reminded, and when I see this, I know that I've got to pull this out and push this in a little bit. So this is the compare tool that you should use whenever you're doing any kind of refinement.